Okay, so you'll be pleased to know this is the last video. So highest common factor and lowest common multiple. Now examiners always put this in the exam, and what they'll do is they'll give you two numbers and they'll say find the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple. So let's say we've got find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 20 and 30. Okay. Now remember, factor is a number that divides into something, multiple lots of. Okay, so what they want is the highest factor. It's the highest number that goes into 20 and 30. Okay, and you probably can guess that it will be 10. Okay, and the lowest common multiple. So the smallest number that 20 and 30 will both go into. Okay, so for example, I know that 20 and 30 will go into 120, but is that the lowest number that 20 and 30 will go into? Okay, now on the previous video I showed you how to prime factorize. Okay, and we need to do that with 20 and 30. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a slightly different way of doing it. You can do it the way that I did it previously, or you can do it this way. Okay, so first off, I would suggest that you write down the first 4 prime numbers. Okay, 2, don't forget 2, 3, 5 and 7. Okay, these are our first 4 prime numbers, and most numbers will tend to break down into these numbers. Okay, so if we took 20, we can prime factorize it like this. So if we have 20, all we do is we think of any two numbers that multiply together will give us 20. So 2 times 10 will give us 20. Yeah, so we've got 2 times 10, and we can see up here that 2 is a prime number, so I just ring that. Okay, now 10, again, what times what will give me 10? Now I know that 5 times 2 will give me 10, and 5 and 2 again are both prime numbers. So I've now run out of anything else to multiply. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 tens 20. So I can say that 20 is the same as 2 times 2 times 5. Now when you're multiplying, it doesn't matter which order you multiply in. Okay, you could have had 2 times 5 times 2, or 5 times 2 times 2. It doesn't matter, you still get back to 20. This is something we call the commutative rule. So now we have to prime factorize 30. So if I take 30, I just think, they haven't got to be prime numbers, I just think, well, what times what will give me 30? So first thing that springs into my head is 3 times 10. Now 3 is prime, so I can't go any further with that, and 10, as we've seen here, is 5 times 2, and 5 and 2 again are prime numbers. So 3 5s are 15 and 2 15s gives me 30. So underneath this I write 30. Okay, and 30 is 3 times 5 times 2. As I say, it doesn't matter which order you write it in, you will still get back to 30. Now I write these over one another for a reason. Okay, now 5 is in this row and 5 is in this row, so I can link those two 5s together, and 2 is in this row and 2 is in this row. Okay, I could have run this 2 with that 2, didn't have to be that one. So 5 and 2 happen in both rows. Okay, so 5 times 2 happens in both rows. So 5 times 2 gives me 10, and that is my highest common factor. Okay, because 10 is the biggest number that will divide into 20 and 30. Okay, so I think this is quite cool because it saves a lot of elimination of guesswork and writing numbers down in massive lists. Now the lowest common multiple is just the highest common factor multiplied by anything that's left. Okay, and I'll just show you. So our highest common factor is 10, so I can write down 10. Now I'm going to multiply that by anything that I've not rung. So I've not rung that 3, so I can put in the 3. And I've not rung that 2. Okay, because these are left. So if I now multiply these out, so 10 times 3 is 30, and 30 times 2 is 60. That gives me my lowest common multiple. Okay, so 60 is the lowest number that both 20 and 30 divide into. Okay, I understand that smallest number we call the highest common factor and the larger number we call the lowest. Okay, so it is sort of counterintuitive, I do understand that, but 10 is the highest number that will divide into 20 and 30, and 60 is the smallest number that 20 and 30 will divide into. Okay, so this is the way that we do it. So if we do another one, so get the feel. So if they said find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 24 and 36, say. So I write down my first 4 primes, 2, 3, 5, 7, and then I prime factorise them. So 24, so I know 2 goes into 24 12 times, and 2 is prime. Now you could have easily gone 3 goes into 24 8 times. You will still get the same result. Okay, 12, well, I can see that 2 times 6 gives me 12, and 2 is prime. And 6, 2 times 3, and 2 and 3 are also prime. So I can say that 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, and double check that you haven't missed a 2 or added 1. Okay, it's very easily done. Now we go to 36. So I know 3 goes into 36, and that goes 12 times. So 3, as we can see up here, is a prime. 12, well, let's go 2 and 6. You could have gone 3 and 4, that's fine. And 2 again is prime. 6 isn't prime, so 6 is 2 times 3. So we have another 2 primes. Okay, and you're probably seeing now why primes are the building blocks of all numbers. So we have 36, okay, and we have 3 times 2 times 2 times 3, okay, 3 2s are 6, 2 6s are 12, 3 12s are 36, so that's fine. Now I ring what's common. So we have a 3 here that's common, we have 2s that are common, and we have another set of 2s that are common. Okay, and we're just left with a 3 and a 2. So 2 times 2 times 3 happens on both lines. So 2 times 2 times 3 will give us our highest common factor. So 2 2s are 4 and 3 4s are 12. So 12 is our highest common factor. Okay, so 12 is the largest number that will go into 24 and into 36. So now we want our lowest common multiple. So remember, it's your highest common factor multiplied by anything that isn't used. So our highest common factor is 12 multiplied by 3, because we didn't ring that, and 2 because we didn't ring that. So 12 times 3 is 36, and 36 times 2 is 72. So 72 is our lowest common multiple. Okay, so 72 is the smallest number that 24 and 36 will both go into. Okay. Now sometimes you might just get one number that's the highest common factor, because only one number will be common, and that's fine. What's important is, and I expect you may be finding this now anyway, is you do need to know your multiplication tables. Okay, whatever you do, learn them as fast as you can, because this all becomes so much easier. Okay, but if you don't know your multiplication tables, then this will become hard work, or you may make mistakes because you don't know your multiplication tables very well. So I urge you strongly to learn your multiplication tables. Okay, so this is how we would find the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple of two numbers. You would only be asked to find the HCF and the LCM of two numbers. Okay, but this is the way that we do it. You don't have to do it this way. There are other ways of doing it. I do it a slightly different way, but students tend to like this way. So I hope this helps. If you've got any problems, as I say, just come online and I'll walk you through it. Don't be embarrassed. Okay, there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you don't understand it, it's because I've not explained it well enough. So you have the worksheets. So when you've completed the worksheets, just email me your answers and I'll reply to you and let you know how you've got on and correct anything that you haven't quite got right. Okay, I hope this helps, and I really do hope that you've learned something. Okay.